It is January the 26th. It's about 1 o'clock. I'm just about to start the Two Lakes Loop here in the Hoosier National Forest. This is the Celina Lake and Indian Lake recreation area. So I'll be doing an overnighter, staying on the west side of Indian Lake, I hope. I've never been here, so we'll see what happens. So I'm here at this kiosk at the Two Lakes Loop Trail in the Hoosier National Forest. It's at the trailhead, and I am right here at this trailhead. My plan is to go down, around, all the way down, up and around, and camp on the west side of the Indian Lake. And then in the morning I'll get up and make my route back around and back to the trailhead. I just finished that little loop, the interpretive loop trail. If you're down here, it's not very long, it's an easy walk, but it's interesting to walk and see the history that's down in this place, down in this part of Indiana especially. You see people struggling to live, clear-cutting the land, topsoil all washes off, and they find themselves unable to farm or support any food off the land anymore, and they just abandon the place. But you have the home, you have a cemetery, you have an old quarry that was down there, and just a neat look back into time that could have easily been just erased and forgotten had someone not taken the time to preserve that story. So I'm just guessing that this place, like many others in Indiana, when the summertime rolls along, there's not going to be any water anywhere to be found besides the two big lakes. But right now there is water running everywhere. It's really nice to listen to, it's nice to look at, really enjoyable. So I'm now on the west side of Indian Lake, and this is an already established campsite. So I don't know if you can tell from the recording here, but I'm starting to lose light, and this is as good a place as any to camp tonight. So this is where I'll stay. There's already right over there a big fire ring built, but I won't be building a fire tonight. Just probably sit in my tent and watch it get dark, and maybe watch a downloaded movie or something. But should be quite nice and quite quiet. Pretty cold tonight, laid here on these leaves, so I think this will do. So for tonight, I left the bug screen at home, and I just opted for a ground sheet. So I'll lay my sleeping bag down on that, and this will be my shelter for the night. Nothing extra fancy tonight. Just a tuna wrap and some protein bars and some string cheese tonight for supper. Nothing fancy. So I'm going to share with you one major complaint about the way people come out here and use these places. This behind me is a really cool rock feature, and everybody would like to see it. But behind me, somebody set up a big fire ring here. They probably camp here. The last thing I want to do, so I'm walking down this trail that walks right past this, is come along and see a bunch of people camped out here. So many people can come out here and use this and be off trail and not even seen, but others decide to put a fire ring right there and just hog up this beauty. Just a complaint. So here's a little something to know before you come here. Depending on what kind of weather they've had in this area, I'm right now at the crossing of this, I guess it's a creek that feeds Indian Lake. But I'm looking at knee-deep water right now. I'm gonna have to change my shoes and cross. I'm not seeing anywhere where I can cross a tree or anything. But when you look behind me here, you can see all this grass is laid down. So at times the water actually gets up another 6-8 inches deeper probably. Yeah, probably that just recently, just by looking at. So you could show up, try to cross this little stream and not be able to cross this. So just a heads up before you come. So I did end up finding a place that wasn't quite as deep to cross. But when I got to the other side of the bank, it wasn't the easiest place to climb out. So that's something else that you need to consider when you're starting into a river crossing, is can you get out on the other side? I've been watching this other guy's channel. His channel's Hoot on the Trail. And he recommended these Randy Sun waterproof socks. So I just crossed the creek in these hiking shoes, and they are soaked out. My socks are dry, and with these socks over the top, it becomes a waterproof barrier. And now I can just walk the water right out of these shoes, and my feet are still dry. So thanks to Hoot on the Trail, when I get back to the truck, my feet won't be all pruny. So I've just now reached the second of, I think these are the only two really big crossings. But this one, again, if I was across right here, I'd probably get my feet wet. I think I can go downstream and probably just leave my shoes and these sock liners on and be able to cross and still keep my feet dry. But I just want to show you where I'm standing at right here. There is still grass laid down from where that water has been this high. And on this creek here, I'm at least a foot difference in height between this point and that point up there. So again, you could get here and be forced to make a decision whether to go back or be wet all the way up to the waist. So I'm gonna go down here, and I think I can get through. I see some rocks down here. So I just finished walking the Two Lakes Loop here in southern Indiana in the Hoosier National Forest. Really enjoyable 2 days. It could be done as a day hike. The conditions of the trail this time, there'd been a lot of rain, and so everything was wet and squishy. So even though it wasn't very long miles, it was a good workout on the legs, just because of the conditions of the trail. If you're going to come do it, I would recommend doing it counterclockwise. So if you get to those two high creeks, you have other options. If I was to have walked it the way I walked it and those creeks were uncrossable, I would have had a very long reroute that would have been more than I would have wanted to have rerouted. So yeah, if you come, do it counterclockwise. Make sure those creeks are crossable, and then the rest of the trail is very doable. If you liked it, hit subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.